Most people are looking at home service franchise and asking the wrong question. They're asking, what's the best brand? Or which one makes me the most money? Let me tell you something here. That is not how you evaluate this. The better question is, what business model actually works consistently for me? Because at the end of the day, you're not just buying a logo. You're not just buying a brand. You're buying a system. And if the system doesn't work, the brand doesn't even matter. So that's what we're going to talk about here in this episode. We're going to try and go into the evaluation process of how to choose a franchise brand in home services. And we're going to start right now. Hi, I'm Peter Karunas, husband, father of 4, and chief growth officer of a home service franchise system. This channel is about real conversations on franchising, the trades, and building a business that actually lasts. And in each episode, I break down the lessons, the mistakes, and opportunities that I see every day inside of the home services industry so that you can make more informed decisions along the way. Thank you so much for being here, and let's jump right on into it. Welcome back. I've been around a lot of franchise candidates, different backgrounds, different budgets, different expectations, different goals, and I see the same pattern over and over again. People get emotionally attached to the idea of a business before they understand how it operates. They like the concept, they like the branding, they like the idea of being in a certain industry, but they haven't broken down the mechanics of it yet. And the mechanics are what determine whether you make money or not. So if you're evaluating a home service franchise, I want to simplify this for you. There are 5 things that you need to look at, not 20, not 50, but just 5. And if you understand these 5, you'll see through most of the noise that's out there. First is ticket size. Are you selling $300 jobs or are you selling $15,000 jobs? Because those are 2 completely different types of businesses. Lower ticket businesses rely on volume. You need more jobs, more leads, tighter operations. The higher ticket businesses, they rely on fewer sales, but more complexity, longer sales cycles, more in-home consultations, more risk if deals fall through. Neither, though, is inherently better than the other. But you need to know what game you're playing. A lot of people underestimate how hard it is to consistently close high-ticket value jobs. And they overestimate how easy it is to generate volume. So, as someone who's looking at home service franchises, you need to ask, again, this is number 1, what's the average job size? And what does it take to actually close one? The second thing that you need to look at here is frequency. And frequency means how often does a customer need you? Is this something they do once a year, or is this something that they do every 10 years? Think like replacing your roof may not necessarily be something that you do every 10 years. It may be doing something that you do every 20, 25 years. Or kitchen remodeling, closet remodeling, floor remodeling. How often are you doing those types of projects versus, say, something like a plumbing project or a drywall project or a power washing project? Think about frequency, because frequency drives stability here. If your customer only needs you once a decade, you're constantly replacing your customer base. That means higher marketing costs, more pressure on lead generation, and less room for error in both of these areas. But if they need you more often, now you can build relationships. Now you can repeat your business cycle. Now you could create repeat customers. Now your marketing becomes more efficient over time. This is one of the most overlooked variables in franchising is frequency. Everyone focuses on how much a job pays, but very few people think about how often that job happens. Something definitely to consider when you're looking at the types of home service franchises that are out there. How often do you have a pest removal instance in your home? In certain parts of the country, that could be a lot. In other urban markets, that could be very little. How often are you looking for home improvement needs? Maybe it's painting, maybe it's power washing, or again, maybe it's plumbing or HVAC or drywall related. These are things that will offer you more volume in frequency, but it has some advantages over, say, those long-term sales cycles. So just something to consider there. Number 3 is the labor model. So let's take a look at labor here for a moment. Who is actually doing the work? This is something that I find people get really excited about or they get very scared off about. I need to think about this for a minute, because if I just dropped $250,000 on a home service franchise or $200,000 on a home service franchise, I bought a single service area. One of the things that I'm going to look at is who's doing the work. Is it something that I'm required to do, or is it something I can hire to do? And home services has got a little bit of both here. In the plumbing, HVAC, electrical space, maybe even in the roofing space, you need licensed technicians to do the work. You need years of experience there. You can't train someone relatively quickly in those markets because there's a trade license and there's experience on how to work within the utilities of a home. This is where people get a little confused, because in the, I don't know, we'll throw a couple out there. One that comes to mind is power washing. And anybody can pick up a power washer and do that kind of work. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that's something that maybe that particular brand is looking for the owner to do. You could also hire somebody to do that work if you'd like. A lot of these other types of home service brands, like poop scoop removal companies, pesticide spraying companies, weed control, gutter cleaning, window cleaning, these are maybe some other brands where the owner themselves can be the one to do that work. Or they can train someone relatively quickly. But labor here is where most home service businesses either scale or they get stuck. If your entire business depends on highly skilled, hard to find labor, growth becomes slow and expensive. But if you can train and systemize the work, you have a much clearer path to scale. Now, this is where you might want to ask about what the franchise can provide from a systemized area of training for you. If the brand is not investing in their training, you should run away, because this is how they're helping you grow your business. But to go backwards here just for a sec, this doesn't mean that the skilled trades are bad. It just means that you need to understand the trade-offs here. The trades, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, they're usually need-based franchises that need a skill, so they're always in demand, and you need to hire high-skill labor to do that. An owner can't do that, but that might actually be what the brand wants. The brand may actually want you to be the owner and sit in the office and manage and operate the business from afar. But higher skill usually means higher margins per job, but slower growth. That's got to be understood. And there will be more operational complexity because of it. Number 4 is the skill barrier. Now, this is related to labor, but slightly different here. See, how difficult is the service to perform at a high level? The higher the skill barrier, the harder it is to maintain consistency across multiple technicians. And inconsistency leads to callbacks. Inconsistency leads to bad reviews. Inconsistency leads to operational chaos and headaches for the owner. Lower skill barrier services are easier to standardize, easier to train, easier to replicate across multiple teams. Again, there's no perfect answer here, but simpler usually scales faster. So think about that from, again, those simple brands I gave you. Once I teach you how to power wash the house properly, safely, carefully, whatever the operative words you want to use there, can you retain that enough to do the next house and the one after that, and then just remember that at a faster clip? Whereas in the plumbing space, not every house is the same. Plumbing is very independent to the cause of the problem in that particular home. Those offer two different types of skill barriers. Most homeowners can't do plumbing work, but most homeowners, however, can power wash their own home. Most homeowners can't fix their AC unit because it's the summer at the time of filming this video. It's the summertime and we're charging up our systems with new chemicals. And when we turn them on and it doesn't work, most people are calling somebody to do that because the skill barrier is very high. And then when it comes to mowing your own lawn or doing plantings, gutter cleaning, window cleaning, just getting your home ready for the season, there's a lot out there from a lower skill barrier that most homeowners can do themselves. And number 5 here is the speed to profitability. So how long does it take for a new franchise owner to actually make money? Not projections, not best case scenarios here, just realistically. What is it going to take? Is this business that ramps up in 3 to 6 months, or one that takes 18 to 24 months to find some stabilization there? This matters more than people think, because the longer that it takes to become profitable, the more pressure that the franchise owner feels and the more pressure that the franchise system as a whole feels. Just overall, financially and mentally, it's taxing on both sides. And pressure leads to bad decisions being made. So if you see a lot of bad decisions being made in that franchise, it may mean because they are taking a longer time to get to profitability that they didn't plan for. So those are your 5 things that you need to look out for. But here's where most people will go wrong. They assume that more complex businesses are better businesses. They think if it's harder, like plumbing or HVAC or electrical, it must be more valuable. And sometimes that's true. But complexity also brings friction here. More things can go wrong. More dependencies are being put on the business from the owner to its employees. And there are certainly more points of failure or more points of areas where things can, again, go wrong in these types of businesses. Simple, repeatable, systemized services often outperform more complex models over time. Not because they're flashy, but because they're consistent. Think of like drywall repair or locksmiths, or I'll throw a couple of new ones at you, bath fitters or carpet installation. Those are consistent brands. They're not flashy, but they are consistent. So when I'm looking at a brand, and I'm a franchise investor myself, not just a franchisor, but I like to look at what else is out there, and I like to ask myself, would I buy this brand? So when I look at a business, I'm not asking, is this exciting? I'm asking, can this be repeated 1,000 times with predictable results? Because that's what scale actually is. It's not one big win. It's a lot of small, consistent wins stacked on top of each other. So if you're evaluating a home service franchise, take a look at those 5 things that you need to look at. Ignore the branding, ignore what's flashy, ignore the hype. Look at the model. Look at the ticket size. Look at the frequency. Look at the labor side of things. Look at the skill that's required, and look at the speed to profitability. Because the model is what you're really buying. And that decision is going to follow you a lot longer than the logo ever will. That's what you got to look at here. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that you took away what those 5 pieces are. And when you're looking at your next home service brand, that you give Elevate Franchise Brands a look. 1-800-Plumber Plus Air and Patch It Up Drywall are two really great franchises in home services to look at, but they are on polar opposites of each other. While similar, very different. And we explain that here in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on our next video here. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me on the Franchise Builder. If you got any value from this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any future episodes that I'm going to drop. Because I release new, brief videos regularly covering franchising, the trades, and what it really takes to build a business that lasts in this industry. Thank you for watching the Franchise Builder, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Coming up this season on The Franchise Builder.
Most businesses are sitting on thousands of dollars of unsold estimates right now. If you're in home services, you know what I'm talking about. AI can re-engage those customers automatically.